Hello, and welcome to a very special edition of PC Mag's One Cool Thing. We are coming to you today live at the very beginning of Prime Day. It is Amazon's yearly event in July, usually in the summertime, when they discount a ton of products from technology to pretty much anything else for their Prime members to buy. But you don't have to be a Prime member to get in on the good deals. We have some of those non-Amazon things to talk about for you later. I'm Tom Brandt, this is Will Greenwald.
Hello.
And we are going to share with you some of the most exciting things that we think is available for Prime Day. And we've got a whole list of products. We're not going to get to all of them. After all, this is one cool thing. Probably won't get to one cool thing either, but feel free to follow along, ask us questions about any of the things that we're talking about, or anything else in the comments if you're watching us right now on Facebook Live, or if you're watching later somewhere else on the internet, maybe you are still finding some Prime Day deals tomorrow. Consider coming back to watch One Cool Thing at 10 a.m. Eastern Time every weekday. So, Will, let's start off with some of the best deals that we think that are on Prime Day.
Sure, but let's also just point people to where they can find the deals, because we have this whole story up here, the best Amazon Prime Day deals. Pete can throw that link in the chat. You can click on it. You can look at the items there. They all, send you to all the different items, and we can scroll down on this TV. And this TV is actually one of those things that is on sale on Prime Day. This is the Toshiba Fire TV edition. We actually reviewed it about a month ago. It came out recently, and it's a pretty solid budget TV. It uses Amazon's Fire TV platform, so it has a Fire TV remote. It's kind of the same as if you plug a Fire TV into the back of the TV, which means you get a whole bunch of apps. You get a lot of streaming. You get Alexa by using the button right here to talk into the remote with a mic. You get streaming Prime Music, Prime Video, and I tested this TV. The contrast isn't great, but the color, very accurate, and honestly, easy to recommend if you're looking for a really inexpensive TV. The 50-inch version, which is the one on sale, retails for, I believe, $330, and this one is on, and it is the 55-inch version, but the 50-inch version is the one that's on sale, down from $330 to $280. So that's a 50-inch TV, 4K, supports HDR, accurate colors, Fire TV, under $300.
And that is a common theme among Prime Day. You are going to find a ton of things that a couple of years ago you thought, wow, that's not possible to buy that for this low price.
Yep.
You're finding them right now, but as Will said, there are drawbacks. It doesn't have the greatest color accuracy, and you'll find that with a lot of other things we're going to be talking about as well. So remember, these are really good deals. Many of them are solid products. Many of them also have some drawbacks. So let's go ahead and go back to...
There's also an onboard web browser. It has both Amazon Silk browser and Firefox, so I can actually just browse on the TV. Nothing's plugged into it right now.
That is pretty cool. Yeah. Oh, so it's not actually pulling the Firefox browser.
Nope.
Yeah. Okay. So So now let's go ahead and kind of look at the overview here. We've got a ton of Amazon devices.
Yeah,
right?
That's their big thing.
All right. So we talked about Fire TV. Let's talk about some other Amazon stuff.
Okay. Well, here are all of the Amazon devices that are on sale. We're looking at well over a dozen, and we've reviewed pretty much all of them, every single one of these. So we can tell you that a lot of them are very good. Starting off, well, why don't we just start with some Echo stuff, the Amazon Echo.
Here we go.
This 2017 version is $100, but it is $70 now during Prime Day, and
yeah,
it's great.
If you haven't ever used an Alexa device, it is really powerful. You can ask it pretty much anything. I believe it is our top recommended of the voice assistants.
It is one of them.
It is a voice assistant. There are some drawbacks, but overall, the anything that's powered by Alexa has a vast array of third-party skills that it can do, from turning off your lights to ordering an Uber. It's very powerful. You'll get Alexa on pretty much on many Amazon devices, but the Echo is the original one, and so yeah, that's the Amazon Echo.
And if you want to put Alexa on, well, if you don't want a big speaker, you just want something really simple you can put anywhere, it's a lot less expensive. This is the Echo Dot, and that is on sale from $50 to $30. Nice thing here, there's a port in the back, so you can attach any speaker you want through 3.5 millimeter, and it gives you the voice assistant just right here. A little puck, you put it on your counter, it's handy.
And then we have the Echo Show, which is a touchscreen speaker. This thing is much more, not much more, it's a little bit more expensive than the Echo or the Echo Dot, but it has a screen.
Alexa, what's the weather today? I think this is...
Yes.
In New York, it's 8.
We have the story of too many Amazon devices here. This is not what you should do at home. You should only buy one of these.
Well, no, but
No,
you shouldn't put them all within like a foot of each other
you should
and
buy
get it
everything
confusing.
and spread them out is what you should do.
You know, buy what works for your needs and budget, but I can ask Alexa. I think the mic might be disabled on this.
Yeah, that we might have the mic disabled. Basically, the Echo Show is a way for you to, one of the standout features of this is voice calling. Basically, you can...
Yeah, you can use Amazon's drop-in service, which is, I gotta be honest, it's actually not all that useful. It isn't something that a whole lot of people use, but if everyone is on the Amazon ecosystem, they have they have Fires, tablets, they have the Show, they have the Dot. You can voice call and do video call with these. That's cool. You can't really go outside the Amazon box, though. You can't use Skype with this. That'd be pretty cool. But this is just a display with a speaker. You can get stuff on it. It's nice to have by your bed, have on your counter. It's a handy device.
Now, you mentioned compatibility with the Fire tablet.
Yep.
You can call the Echo Show from it. Let's actually talk about the Fire tablet because there are a bunch of different Fire tablets. I believe this one is the HD.
First, we should also mention just the price because this is cut down $100. It's usually $230, or at least retail is $230. This is $130
Yeah,
for Prime Day.
and as
Your
you'll
Prime
see,
member.
this is actually the most expensive Echo device that we have that is currently on sale. I'm sorry, the normal price is currently the most expensive Echo device.
And in case you're worried about any of us just shilling stuff for Amazon, we have reviewed every single one of these items, and I'll even be totally honest, I'm not a fan of the Echo Show.
Yeah.
I like the Echo, the Spot, the smaller one. I use that as an alarm clock. It's a lot less expensive already. This one, didn't really like the sound. The screen is kind of really pointless compared to just what we can do with regular Alexa for way cheaper. But the Dot, a lot of us have Dots at home.
Yeah.
I have the Spot, I keep mixing up the Dash, the Spot.
Yeah, we don't have any Dash devices here.
Which is fine, because the
Those
button
are
you press,
$5.
you order stuff,
Yeah.
it's whatever.
Right. But yeah, now let's talk about the tablet because Android tablets are few and far between. There are not very many good Android tablets. The Amazon
Handful.
the Amazon Fire is not exactly an Android tablet. It's Amazon's version of an Android tablet, but they are kind of at the top of our list of the best Android tablets that you can currently buy.
Kind of, at least in price range, because key thing for this is the Fire HD 10, which is one of the higher-end Fire tablets. It is 10 inches, it is 1900 by 1200 resolution, 1920 by 1200 resolution, so slightly over 1080p. And it usually costs $150. It is on sale for $99 with Amazon special offers, which means you get ads on the lock screen, or $115 if you want to actually get rid of them and just have a blank lock screen, which, $15, that's fine.
Right.
I feel always weird about getting the special deals one because you're going to save a little money, but then every time you pick up the device, Amazon's selling you something else.
Yeah, and that's the same thing with the Kindle. They show ads on the Kindle. But that said, this device right here is what? What do you say the price was again?
This is right now $99 with the special offers with ads on the lock screen. That is what the special offers are. They're ads on the lock screen.
$100.
Without it, $115
for a good tablet. I mean, that's pretty good.
That is way less than half the price of the low-level iPad. That's $329.
Yeah,
right?
$329 is the entry level. Is the base model iPad.
And if you just want to consume media, this is a really good tablet. It is high resolution. It is very affordable, and you can even say, Alexa, show mode.
Mode, an old set of scales.
Yes, it will define show mode for
Alexa, Echo show mode.
Mode, an old set of
Okay.
scales.
Maybe this
Very
needs to be
useful
updated.
dictionary.
This might need to be updated, but there is a thing where you can actually tell to go into show mode, and it acts like an Echo Show. So it just gives you like the minimalist, not like it cuts out a lot of the clutter and just gives you voice command like information. It's just a different way to interface with it. You can get a stand for it, the Echo Show, like the Fire TV, the Fire HD for Echo Show stand for the different sizes. It works for that.
There's also the Fire HD 8 for half that price, $50 for a Fire HD 8 tablet.
Again, special offers, $65 without it. I recommend that one.
Yeah, and then you could even get a Fire 7 tablet for $30, which is crazy. A tablet for $30.
Yep.
You could use that as a wall clock. Actually, if you
could.
If you
I gotta be totally honest though, upgrade to the HD 8 or the HD 10 because the extra resolution you get, like even at $30 to $50, and let's face it, it's going to be a little bit more because you don't want the ads on it. The resolution, the screen is really aging for the Fire 7.
Right.
Maybe they'll do an update, but as it is, the HD8 and the HD10, they're real good. And all of them are on sale a lot if you have a Prime membership right now. So
Now, speaking of Prime membership, if you're just watching us, this is our special One Cool Thing Prime Day edition. Prime Day is consuming the internet today because there are so many good deals to be had. As we just showed you, we showed you a couple Amazon devices, some as low as $29 for a tablet. The last Amazon
I
device
recommend that one.
we want to talk about, $29, that tells you all you need to know. The last Amazon device that we want to talk about that's on sale is the Kindle. This is...
No, we have another couple others too.
Oh, we do?
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
there's
talk about
more Amazon?
This is the Kindle Voyage. I think the Voyage is on sale, but if it isn't, the Paperwhite is in the bucket over there. But basically, Kindle's real good. The Paperwhite is one of our favorite. There's the Voyage. I think that's the waterproof one.
Yeah.
It's a bit
This
more
is more
expensive.
expensive, right.
I don't see it on the list. Actually, I might have gotten that out by mistake. But whatever. The Paperwhite's great, and it is on sale again with special offers. $40 off from $120 to $80.
Yeah, this
That's
is
real
one.
good.
This is $80 for a Kindle Paperwhite. Very good. This is one of those things again that Amazon does pretty well. There aren't a lot of good alternative ebook readers that aren't from Amazon. The Barnes & Noble Nook hasn't been, the last update wasn't really quite up to snuff.
There's
There are some
Kobo.
Kobo ones that are great if you don't like the Amazon ecosystem.
Does
You want
Sony
to use
still make
other
e-readers?
ones. Yeah, Sony has a few. Sony actually has one that's really cool. It's a really thin, but it's super expensive. It's like $700. We reviewed
That's
that
like
a
the
couple months
12-inch
ago.
one. Like
Yeah,
for
it's
the-
huge.
it's
If you
for
wanna-
drafting.
If you want to, it's for drafting, or if you want to read it like a newspaper on the train or something like that. But in general, I think that the Kindle is our top-rated e-reader. So definitely, if you're looking to read on an electronic device, today is the day for that. What else have we got here?
Well, the last Amazon item we have on hand right now is the Amazon Fire TV Cube. It is basically a Fire TV, which is also on the list. We really like the Fire TV.
Yeah.
That's actually a real good deal. I reviewed it. It is an excellent media streamer. It supports HDR, not Dolby Vision, but HDR10. Fire TV, so a bunch of cool features. $35 down from $70. That's a great deal. This one is $80 down from $110, and the reason it is because this is also a speaker with hands-free Alexa. So all you do is pop it in front of your TV, and you control your TV with your voice, in addition to using the remote. We have a question.
It was about the Amazon tablet you showed off earlier.
Yep.
Someone wants to know, and Tom, you might have some familiarity with this, is what's different about that versus like the Surface Go or any sort of Surface device?
Well, Surface is Windows 10S, Windows 10N. What's the weird one?
Yeah, well, so there are multiple versions. The Surface Pro has full version of Windows. They actually just came out with Microsoft just came out with a $399 version of the Surface called the Surface Go.
Yep.
Which actually might be what you're asking about. We haven't actually finished reviewing that. It's so new, but it's a completely different product because this runs a customized version of Android, which Amazon made to tailor for the Fire, whereas the Surface Go and many other Windows tablets use Windows, which is much more capable. So they're not really the same league.
But the thing with the Surface Go is that it has like Windows 10S, and you need to like opt in to upgrade to Windows 10 Home for the full experience, and you can't downgrade it. I don't know why you would want to, but it's this weird tiered system that Microsoft has going on.
Yeah,
And if you're like a business or like an educator and you're buying them in bulk, you can just upgrade them to Windows 10 Pro.
Yes, so there are many different versions of the ability to switch between Windows 10S and the other versions of Windows 10. It all depends on the device. Some of those are a free switchover or upgrade. Some of them cost money. But since this is Prime Day, if you're in the market for a Windows-powered tablet or laptop, there's going to be better deals later on in the year. Certainly if you find one, jump on it, but we don't have those right now.
But in the meantime, while we're still testing the Surface Go and finishing that review, go to our site. We have a preview written up. It'll explain some of the pricing structures, and we have some comparisons between that and the iPad, which is a lot closer in price, $329 to $339. This, it is $150. And that's
Half the price of an iPad.
and it's on sale for $99 right now with special features, $115 if you don't want ads. And that's actually an important distinction because this is for media consumption. It lets you look at anything on Amazon. There's a lot of apps and streaming stuff so you can get like, a whole bunch of other services too, Netflix, the like. And it's so inexpensive because it isn't really meant for productivity. It's just have fun with it. It's a bit more rugged, it is thicker, not that sleek, not that fast, but it's a good screen and inexpensive. And here's a nice thing if you like using it for reading comics, which is what I use tablets for a lot, books, just putting a bunch of movies on it, micro SD card slot. That's always important because this is available in 32 and 64 gigabyte versions. That might actually be the 8 one, and this one might be 64 and 128. I forget. But the point is that because it has a micro SD card slot,
the storage.
yeah, so you can just get the smallest version, pop a card in, put as much media as you want. One caveat you need to know before ordering this, it is Android based. It's basically running a heavily shelled version of Android, but it does not have the Google Play stores. So you can't directly get apps that are on the Google Play Store. You need to go through Amazon's App Store, which is fine. There are a whole bunch of apps on there, but if you want the stuff that's only on Google, you need to actually sideload the APK or use, like, basically mod the hell out of it to get it to work.
Right.
It's doable, but you need a bit more technical expertise than just opening this up and consuming, whatever video stuff you want. It's very much use it if you just want to have an easy time looking at stuff on Prime Video and getting Prime Music. Use it if you just want an easy time using Alexa. Use it if you're a bit of a hacker and want to mod the hell out of it. It's inexpensive and that's totally feasible.
Yeah, and essentially it is a walled garden, but you can escape that if you have a little bit of technological know-how and a lot of time on your hands.
Yep.
So, that really is what Prime Day is all about.
And it's not nearly as much of a walled garden as the iPad, which is fun. Like, that wall has been built for a decade.
The iPad, it has insurmountable castle walls that you cannot escape from.
And the Surface Go is, if you get the Windows 10 home version, it's just whatever, put an EXE on it.
Yeah. Now, okay, so we've talked a lot about Amazon devices. We'll talk a little bit more about those towards the end. But there are a ton of other products that are for sale on Amazon that are not made by Amazon, and let's go to some of those now.
Starting with the Google Pixel Book, which you have right here, right?
Yes, so top on the list of laptops and desktops, which is a hot category right now. We're in July, kind of entering back to school mode for college students. The Google Pixel Book is pretty much the essence of Google-ness as far as the Chrome operating system is concerned.
Now, this is technically a Chromebook, right?
It is a Chromebook, but unlike most Chromebooks, this machine normally costs $1,000 for the base version, and as you can see here, we're down to $749, which is still a lot of money to spend on a Chromebook.
Still 25% off.
Yeah, but that's 25% off, and it is probably one of the best Chromebooks, if not the best Chromebook, that you can buy just purely based on the specs. There's a Core i7 processor in here. Core i5 processor in here. Most Chromebooks have a Celeron processor. There's a gorgeous 2400 by 1600 display, which you can't really see right now because the brightness isn't turned up. Let's see if, yeah, the studio lights are too bright to really see the display. And it's a convertible, so it switches into tablet mode. It's actually very comfortable to handle in tablet mode. We gave it 4 stars, but we didn't give it an editor's choice because if you're going to spend $1,000 on a laptop, you probably want a Windows or Mac to do more things. That said, $749 may be more attractive.
That's real good, and I have to say, I use a fairly high-end Chromebook when I'm just playing around. Is the Asus C203.
Yeah, that's all the... Yeah.
The aluminum body, $500, which is really expensive for a Chromebook too. It has a Core i3, which is still a huge jump over most Chromebooks because Chromebooks are usually very cheap. They feel cheap and they perform very cheaply.
This does not. This is beautifully designed.
This is solid.
Again, well, no SD card reader, but you can get it with 128 gigabytes or 256 gigabyte hard drive, which is more than enough for a Chrome.
And as a Chrome device, it has 2 USB-C. Does it have any USB-A?
No, there is no regular USB-A port. Common trend among laptops.
Well, that's totally fine because if it's anything like my Asus Chromebook, or is it Acer? One of them is the $500 one that's like the aluminum body. I think
the
that's
C200
Asus.
series is the Asus. Yeah.
You just pop in a USB-C hub, and you can use you can put in mice. I've used mice. Used wired keyboards, video output, and card reader. So even if there isn't a card reader on here, which is kind of weird to be lacking on such a high-end device, you can plug anything in with USB-C to a USB-A hub.
Yeah. Now, the Google Pixel Book is not the only Chromebook that is on sale today for Prime Day. In fact, there are a ton more Chromebooks here, as you can see, from Acer and Asus that are much cheaper, and in fact, as low as $179 for the VivoBook E203, which is not a Chromebook, but that's pretty cheap for a laptop.
So among all these, which ones would you really recommend lowest end for what someone wants to get something useful out of, and not just this is a piece of bargain bin junk I got from Prime Day.
Right. So basically, as far as Windows laptops are concerned, the Acer Spin 1, which is here for $239, is probably the best. We gave it a 4-star editor's choice when we reviewed it a couple months ago. That is an excellent deal at $319 for a Windows laptop. At $239, it's an even better deal. However, this is the thing that we always talk about when we talk about budget laptops. Do not expect a flawless experience watching, watching a 4K video or doing other processor-intensive tasks, because the Celeron processor is simply not going to offer the performance of a $500 or of a $1,000 or even a $500 laptop.
It makes compromises, but it's probably a good opportunity to move on talking about gaming gear.
Ah, yes.
So this MSI gaming laptop, the GL62M, have we looked at that one?
So the MSI, we haven't actually looked at that specific model, but I can tell you that the Core i7 7th gen processor is now pretty old. It came out last year. The 1050 Ti, the GTX 1050 Ti, that's kind of the base level of gaming GPUs, so that one might be something to pass over.
But the one below it, the iBuyPower, that's a desktop, but it has the 8th gen i7 and a GTX 1070 Ti,
Right,
which
for
is
$1,200,
a huge step up.
I mean, that's a great deal, actually.
Yep.
Yeah.
Galaxy Tab A, I don't know if are we a big fan of that?
So Galaxy Tab A, that is a Android tablet. There's not a huge discount there. I would say skip over that, because as I was mentioning earlier, if you have been watching for a while, there aren't a lot of great Android tablets. If you're looking for a good non-Apple iPad alternative, it's probably going to be the Amazon Fire.
We kind of had this big thing with Android tablets where we had a slew of them for a couple years, and then people realized there wasn't a whole lot of interest, so it scaled back to Amazon doing their own thing, and it's very much their own thing. Samsung still doing what Samsung does, and iPad.
Yeah.
And of course Microsoft and
Right.
Google themselves, but there isn't really a whole lot of interest for, when there were dozens and dozens of different Android tablet manufacturers all over the place. It's become pared down, but you can still find some really good devices if it is if it is useful to you.
Right.
There's certain things that you will find useful in Android that you could do with Windows, but the price and the form factor is a lot better.
But ultimately, the best overall tablet that you can buy right now, as far as we're concerned, we gave our editor's choice to the current gen iPad, which really is the way to go.
$329.
It's $329. Now, speaking of Apple products, you won't find any on this list. That doesn't mean that you can't find them discounted on Amazon. Amazon sometimes and other retailers sometimes offer small discounts on Amazon products.
Amazon's pretty strict with their pricing, aren't they?
Oh, sorry, Apple. Yeah,
Apple,
Apple's
I
pretty
mean,
strict. You can sometimes find discount prices.
And hey, Walmart actually has
yeah. So
it. On sale for a little bit.
So this is actually the higher end version of the iPad. It's the 128 gigabyte version instead of the 64 gigabyte version. That's a pretty good deal because it's only $20 more than the base level. So this is a lesson. Do not just go to Amazon on Prime Day. Other retailers want in on the fun as well.
Look at our story, go to the way bottom to anti-Prime deals, and you will see a whole bunch of stuff that's actually like a Chromecast and Google Home Mini for $59. It's, if you're okay with shopping at Walmart, that's totally cool.
All right, so we talked about laptops and desktops. We talked about Amazon Fire, Kindle, Echo devices, things like that. What's next on our list here?
Let's go to your domain, hardware.
Okay,
As soon as I scroll up here, components.
Let's talk about storage actually briefly, since I did bring out a few hard drives.
Well, storage is also components.
Go
isn't it?
go up a little bit.
Okay. If it's internal, I think it's a component.
There's a ton
Yeah.
of hard drives on here, and this is interesting because people really want to know. Hard drive storing data. It doesn't sound that interesting, but there are a lot of things to consider when you're buying one. If you're upgrading an internal storage, the best things that I've found here on Amazon Prime Day are the Crucial MX500, which is actually available in a 2 terabyte version, a 2 terabyte SSD for $300.
That's a good price for 2 terabytes of SSD.
Yeah, that is unthinkable. Even just a year or so ago, and we just reviewed the MX500. Actually, we gave it our editor's choice for the best budget internal SSD upgrade, and it's available in both M.2 versions and the full-size SATA version. I believe this one looks like it's the SATA version.
And again, this is not us like trying to directly sell stuff. We don't directly get any money from stuff. The company as a whole, I think there's
Yeah, they
some
probably
sort of
get some
there's
sort
some
of deal,
commerce
yeah.
deal just going through
Yeah.
links because that's how the internet works. We do not get directly paid. There's no direct compensation of the stuff we're showing off. This is actually things we've looked at
Yeah.
and have reviewed. And just as a hardware expert, both of us, but you computer hardware more than
Yeah.
most. 320 for a 2 gigabyte SSD, 2 terabyte SSD drive. That is a really, really good price.
That said, you don't necessarily need 2 terabytes
Not
of
always.
solid-state storage, but I mean, at that price, if you were looking at upgrading to an SSD anyway, that's a really good price. I also wanted to mention the 960 EVO, the Samsung 960 EVO. Samsung drives are much more expensive than the other ones. It's kind of the Samsung tax that you pay for the difference is basically reliability. They're much more reliable. They've been tested to much higher standards.
Well, how do they fare compared to SanDisk? Because see, the SanDisk one is 20 gigabytes fewer, but less than half the price on SanDisk.
Yeah, so let's look at that. So it's about the same capacity, right, for the SanDisk SSD Plus, but about half the price. The difference really comes down to endurance. The 960 EVO, the 960 Pro will never wear out before your PC does. And really the SanDisk shouldn't either, but if you were the kind of person who's going to install this in a web server or copy multiple terabytes per day of data, you might want to look up there. And I'm sorry, it looks like we've got a question.
When you're personally shopping for Prime Day, is there anything you look for? Like, what are you hoping to get out of this?
I was actually looking at getting a new electric kettle because I wanted to get a nice gooseneck one, maybe a new Chemex, so I can just step up my coffee game a little bit. But honestly, I was also kind of considering getting a Fire HD 10 on sale just because I need a new tablet to read comics and manga.
Yeah.
And I've been getting a lot of stuff on Humble Bundle, which, spoilers, we do own, but we have nothing to do with directly. That's a completely different division. Because they have a lot of good book and comic bundles, and reading it on a nice big screen compared to the 8-inch tablet I usually use or my Chromebook just sounds like a nicer idea.
Right. I'm personally looking for a hat to shield myself from the summer sun. I don't have a lot of hair to do that, so that's what I'm looking for.
Actually, one of the things that I've been shopping for is on sale now. You don't have it here, but it is definitely a good thing to point out. The SanDisk Ultra and SanDisk Fit micro SD cards. Micro SD is what you can pop into these tablets to get extra space. It's what you pop into a Nintendo Switch to get extra space, which is very important. And 22 to 27 bucks for 128. That is a really good price. That is down from 38 to 45 bucks, and that's going to give you plenty of space. I have a 64 on my Switch now. I've been looking to upgrade because I've been needing to archive my games fairly often.
Now, on the opposite end of that, the last storage thing that we want to call out here is the Iron Wolf Pro. That we actually have the 12 terabyte version. This is 12 terabytes of storage in a single drive. If you need to build a NAS device, this is a great choice. But if you don't know what that is, don't worry about it.
And the 6 terabyte version.
Yeah, the 6 terabyte version is $161.
Down from $230. So that's a lot of storage.
Yeah, if you're building a NAS device, maybe you have a massive media collection or something like that, you want the lowest cost per gigabyte. This is the time to buy these Iron Wolf drives.
What's the difference between the Pro and the regular?
There really isn't much difference other than, again, endurance, reliability, and testing. The Iron Wolf Pro, well, actually, all Iron Wolf drives are designed for NAS devices, but I believe the Pro actually might be the only one that has the 12 terabyte version, which isn't on sale today, but that's what we have.
Is there a speed difference, like RPM or anything?
There could be. It could be
they're
a difference
mechanical.
so the difference is between 5400 and 7200. I believe these are all 5400 though.
Really?
Yeah.
Although it
Doesn't
might be
say on here.
Well, we can look here and see. 7200.
Oh, so it's 7200.
Yeah.
Okay, so the Pro is 7200.
And the regular
Let's
one
look
is.
at the regular.
And usually I'm not a fan of TV web browsers, but the big circular thing on the remote makes it not terrible.
Yeah,
to go
this is
through.
probably 5400. Basically, if you do not see 7200, assume it's 5400.
yeah.
But again, these are
That's worth the upgrade.
these are a bit of going off into the weeds here. Basically, this is a time to shop for NAS stuff.
This isn't going into the weeds, this is going into the hardware.
Right.
And this is actually a good opportunity to point out the difference between here. 2 terabyte SSD, great if you just want to rock SSD, 320, but You get a SanDisk, like almost half terabyte
True.
solid state for 80, and then you get a 6 terabyte Iron Wolf Pro for 160.
Yeah.
You've spent 2/3 as much as you would have spent on that crucial SSD, and you're rocking more storage, and 7200 mechanical hard drive is still pretty good for storage, and you can put your OS, you can put your game installations on the SSD, you still have plenty of room to work with there.
Yeah, do that. Do what Will just said if you have a desktop. You don't need a 2 terabyte SSD if you've got room for multiple drives. Much more economical to go with the dual drive setup. All right, so then we've got some components here. The first thing on the list is the AMD Ryzen Threadripper.
Yep.
Now, this is the first gen Threadripper, and it is insanely powerful. For $429, I'm actually not sure what they go for normally. Prices change so much for CPUs.
Yeah.
But that is, I mean, shop around. It's a pretty good deal for that much performance. It's 8 cores and 16 threads. That said, the second gen Threadripper is coming out in a few months, possibly even next month. They announced it at Computex last month, so I might wait on that. The best buys right here, obviously, are the gaming, are the GPUs. A GTX 1080 for $500, which is below the list price. That's pretty good.
Yeah, and it's usually hard to find them for the list price because we're still we're winding down from this weird mining Bitcoin thing
Yeah.
where a lot of people have been hoarding 1080s, and just it has thrown off the price of high-end GPUs for several years now, and it's been a pain for anyone looking for 1080. So getting this for $500, that is a really good. I assume it's a decent deal, but it's a really good GPU.
Basically, what we're looking at here, we list the list prices here, but
Yep.
often a 1080 will be above the list price. So if you can snag it for $500, that's not bad. And then the 1060.
Hey, maybe you can flip it too.
If you're not planning on gaming at 4K resolution, or you have an insane 4K display, a 1060 should be perfectly adequate, and that's only $200. The one thing I did want to call out on the CPU front is the new Ryzen 7 second gen. It's the Ryzen 7 2700, which we actually have right here. The Ryzen is great for DIY system builders. It's comparable performance to an Intel Core i7, but a bit cheaper, and it comes with the fan included, so you don't have to buy a CPU cooler in addition to the CPU.
You can compare the prices right now. That Ryzen 7 is $225 with the cooler, down from just under $300. The Core i7 just above it is $300. That's still a very good price for the 8700, down from $380. So you are saving about $80 by going with AMD over Intel.
Indeed.
What else do we have to talk about here? There's probably
Yes,
some things.
networking. Let's move on. Actually, let's move on to smart home.
We don't have this here right now because we tend to get a lot of equipment in and out of the lab constantly, but the Ecovacs D-Bot N79S is our current budget robot vacuum. It is on sale very low for
It's
$170.
Yeah, 170. We actually reviewed this, and I think it was $279 when we reviewed it.
Yep. We quite liked it. It has app control, virtual wall. There are a lot of features which you do not usually see in a robot vacuum that's less than $200.
Yeah, robot vacuums are really an indulgence. I mean, you are getting a robot to clean your home.
Well, you say that, but I find it really useful.
But the thing is, not only that though, if you can get it for $170, a good one for $170, which this is, why not try it?
I mean, real talk about this. Having a robot vacuum cleaner in my apartment is super handy because keeping an actual upright is a pain, and the price you're going to spend compared to $200 for that is like you're going to get a piece of junk upright, and I've gone through like 2 or 3. Or you're going to have to spend a lot of time with like a handheld and the little extensions, and the suction of those suck. So having this thing you can just automate and it costs less than $200, that's pretty handy.
Yeah, and if you have a house with multiple stories, you can go to bed and have it clean the downstairs while you're asleep. You won't hear it, and you don't have to do any work.
Yep. The Ring Video Doorbell and Video 2 and Video Doorbell Pro, they're also very strong and on sale significantly. Video Doorbell 2, $120. The Video Doorbell Pro, $174.
Now, what did we rate the Ring Video Doorbell?
I believe we rated the Doorbell Pro quite well because it has several extra features like, I think, two-way audio, and it might have cloud storage you don't need to pay for, but I'd have to check the review on that.
Right, definitely check out the roundup of the best video doorbells, because there are surprisingly many different options on that front.
For the TV.
We talked about the TV.
Yeah, we talked about that. Gaming, Okay, you can get the SNES edition of the 3DS XL, but seriously, Nintendo put the 3DS to bed. The Switch is here. Everyone loves the Switch. Put the resources you're putting towards making games for the 3DS and just make them for the Switch.
Pro tip.
Please.
Now
I say this as someone who has loved his 3DS for years and years,
Right.
but is collecting dust because I've just moved on to the Switch. I can only have one handheld in my life.
Now, there is a 3DS-like device coming out that it may be a flop, but maybe a huge hit. It's the Asus ROG phone. It's this ridiculous smartphone that actually comes with a thing that you put the phone in. It looks like a Nintendo 3DS. We saw that test out a little bit. No idea if that's actually going to be a viable product because it's just a prototype at this point. But
Gaming phones are kind of weird. We did look at the Razer phone earlier this year too,
yeah.
and that's like, you still need to deal with both Android ecosystem and having getting a controller to work with it. I'm reminded of the Sony Xperia Play from years and years ago, this slide open phone with like an actual joypad under it, like it was a PlayStation Portable Go. And it was cool, but again, Android, you are super limiting yourself.
Yeah. Now, let's go back to, there are some phones deals on Prime Day, which we can get to in a minute, but let me just say, if you're just joining us, this is our special One Cool Thing edition, special edition of our One Cool Thing show for Amazon Prime Day. We've just talked about a ton of products. You missed the all the discussion about the Amazon products. Rewind if that's the case and you're interested in those. Talked about laptops, desktops, storage, and now we are on to gaming.
Yep.
Please ask us questions in the comments if you've got them, and we will do our best to answer them for you.
There actually aren't a whole lot of recognizable items here besides the 3DS XL. We did look at the Elgato Stream Deck. I don't know if a review is up, but it is a fascinating little device if you are a streamer. It's basically a pad with light up sort of little LCD screens under each button that you can assign to different functions for XSplit or OBS or whatever your streaming software is. So you can just press a button, go to a different scene, press a button, switch to a different source. Really handy if you're streaming or just using a sort of a switchboard.
Now, but you do need your PC to kind of be a home theater PC for that, right? It has to be connected to the TV?
All it has to do is just be something you stream from. And if a lot of people stream PC games, then they just need to have it at their desk.
Okay.
It's like a control panel.
Right.
The HyperX Cloud 2, I think I looked at the Cloud 2. I did look at the Cloud Alpha and the Cloud Stinger, which we do recommend. 7.1 channel headsets here. They're kind of, isn't really true 7.1 channel surround because with very few exceptions, there is only one driver for each ear, even if it processes 7.1 channel surround. So it's basically mixing it within the headphones based on the information it's getting from the computer. And it's you get good sound, but honestly, the HyperX Cloud Alpha is very, very nice.
And how much is that?
I forget. I want to say 70.
So that's
the Cloud Stinger. But either way, we can say that HyperX makes some pretty good. That's a Kingston brand. They make some pretty good devices.
Yeah, but it is to, bear in mind here a word of caution. $70 down from $99. That's not necessarily something you're not going to find every day, or at least on many days. That discount for a gaming headset might not be like, oh my god, we have to buy it now.
And honestly, for that price, if you spend like an extra $10 and get an Astro Gaming A10, that is our current big recommendation for the wired sub $100 gaming headset. Astro is one of the best names in gaming headsets right now.
Right.
And they make a really solid budget headset for like $70, $80.
There's also SteelSeries. We've reviewed some excellent SteelSeries headsets.
That is pricier though. The the SteelSeries Pro with Game DAC, with this sort of mixer thing, is like $250.
Okay.
So it's neat but expensive. And the wireless SteelSeries I think is $320, but it is very nice, and the headset doubles in Bluetooth, which you do not see in most gaming headsets, even wireless ones.
Okay, so now we mentioned that there are some smartphone deals. We only got two here right now. It's the previous generation of the Samsung Galaxy S8. We're actually at the S9 right now, but look at those prices.
Yeah, but also that's the S8 not the S9. So
Yeah, but the S8 is a great phone.
No, it is a great phone, but it's last year's great phone.
True.
And like, $500, that ain't bad. But if you're gonna be spending money for last year's tech, you might as well go for a modern mid-range one like the latest Moto G something, like whatever the latest.
Yeah, but I'm also a fan of some. If you're going with the unlocked phone route, there are some really good ones that you can't get from carriers or can't get them very easily, like the OnePlus I believe we're up to the OnePlus 7 now. OnePlus,
It's a weird name.
Those are great phones. I actually used one as my
HTC
exclusive
Honor?
camera for a week. Yeah, the Honor phones from HTC. Sorry, no, Honor is from Huawei, I believe. Yeah,
Now, those are both brands that might be having some issues with actually getting into the country because of embargo stuff, but who knows?
Again, you can't find those directly from a carrier, but these are unlocked anyway, so if we're going to mention these, we should also mention that there are some great Chinese alternatives. They're really good phones.
If Pete can throw up a list of the best unlocked phone stories, you can actually look at some alternatives because the S8 Plus is for less than $600. That ain't bad, but the S9 Plus is out.
Yeah, both great phones. As Will said, the S8 is last year's technology.
For audio, the Quiet Comfort 25, it is wired headphones, noise canceling, but the best noise canceling in the industry. Bose is the name in noise canceling headphones, the best technology that will block out anything around you. And that is down from $300 for wired headphones down to $125. I've used these. That is a good price for headphones.
And the thing is, Bose is similar to Apple and Samsung, that you are paying usually a premium for these products as people know them. $125 down from $300. I mean, the deal seeker in me would want to jump on that, basically.
Yep. And even like the Bose Premium, you're still also paying for the noise canceling circuitry because it is the best in the business on consumer level.
Yeah.
The Bose SoundLink Micro is a small Bluetooth speaker. Honestly, like with where Bluetooth speakers are, you can probably find a better one somewhere else. We have a list of the best small Bluetooth speakers. I think the JBL Clip 3, if you're looking for something that size, might be a bit less expensive.
Or there's also some waterproof ones that you might want to check out as well.
Sennheiser HD 4.5, that is half off. That is very good. Sennheiser's noise canceling isn't going to be quite as strong as Bose's, but that is a good price for wireless headphones, and Sennheiser is a solid brand. I think we might have actually reviewed that one. And the Skullcandy Hesh 2, we also reviewed that. Good headphones, half off, go for it.
All right, now moving on to wearables. We've got the Fitbit, we've got two Fitbit models here. Not huge discounts, but the Fitbit Versa, I believe, we got a very good rating because it's one of the first ones. I'm going to walk back on that. I'm going to say check out our review of the Fitbit Versa.
I can actually explain it a little bit better because I have a Versa. I bought a Versa because I really liked the review our wearables analyst Victoria Song did of it. It is sort of a scaled down version of the Fitbit Ionic, which was their first smartwatch. So it's not quite as fancy, not quite as overbuilt, less expensive, well designed. This is actually the special edition because it has the cloth wristband. That was $230. It was $200 usually, down to $160 now. I can wholeheartedly recommend this. It has a fitness tracker. It'll follow your steps. It counts that. I'm up to 6,700 so far. That's not too bad. I try to get 10,000 a day. Heartbeat sensor. You can have custom. I'm gonna just try. You can have custom faceplates. I have a Star Trek: The Next Generation LCARS faceplate. Come at me, nerds. And actually, it has Fitbit Pay, but it's basically the same as Apple Pay, Samsung Pay. It is just NFC. Credit card stuff, so when I'm going to the gym, I'm not taking my full wallet. I just press a button on here, and my card pops up. I point it at the thing at Dunkin' Donuts. I get my coffee.
Yeah, now, and
I use iced coffee when I jog. It keeps me going.
Yeah, that's if you see Will jogging down the street with an iced coffee, do not be alarmed. The Fitbit Versa made that possible.
Also, do not make eye contact.
Now, the thing with the Versa really is this is a great smart watch. It's not a fitness tracker. Fitbit makes tons of fitness trackers. This is actually a smart watch along the lines of the Apple Watch or Samsung Gear, but it's from Fitbit. It's very good. Check that out.
And if you just want a fitness tracker, the Alta HR.
Not that big of a discount.
Like $30.
Yeah.
Let's actually see what it is because I might recognize it. I think it might actually be less than the charge, but the HR means it also has a heart rate monitor, which is nice. And if there's a screen on it, yep, you can see right there. It's a smart device and a watch. It is not a smart watch because you don't put apps on it. It's just like you look at it, there's the time, and it also tracks your heartbeat. That's not bad for $90, but if you want something more everyday for a whole lot of different uses, I really like the Versa. Stop showing my credit card.
Yeah. So now, if you want to make a steak dinner or coffee for instance, we have some products here that are outside the realm of the laptops, desktops, things like that.
The vast majority of these I don't believe we have reviewed, but this
Yeah.
one, the Anuva Sous-vide,
We have?
we have. I have reviewed that. It is
Okay.
an immersion circulator, which means you put it in a big bucket of water and it heats it to a very precise temperature. Then you put vacuum sealed or in a freezer Ziploc bag. You pull the air out. You don't need to get a vacuum sealer.
Right.
You can heat food to a specific temperature to get it done perfectly. Then you finish searing it like in the oven under a broil or just on a pan.
This is much easier than filling your sink with water and constantly adding cold and hot to approximate the sous vide temperature.
Which is also like not
Dangerous.
feasible for
Yeah,
most
not
users.
Not feasible and dangerous if you undercook the food.
And it's an immersion circulator for 110 down from 150, and I can, if you're interested in sous vide, that's a good way of trying it out.
I'm interested in it. I'm probably going to, if I ever do cook with sous vide, I'm probably going to spring for one of these rather than experimenting with, the tub method.
It's just no. Actually, I kind of like it better than the Joule, which is another immersion circulator for sous vide, which is it looks simpler, but it's only app controlled. This one, it has just a dial on the front, so you can look at the temperature on a little screen.
Right.
So you don't actually need to use an app, which is handy because even though we look at a bunch of smart appliances and we like several of them, the smart part of it is not nearly as important as how well it performs as an appliance.
Yeah.
The app control for a lot of these things are just
It's just a gimmick.
it's a neat gimmick.
Yeah.
It's cool. It can be very handy in a lot of different ways, but it is not vital compared to it just doing what it
Right.
needs to do easily and reliably.
And nowhere is that clearer than something we don't actually have on here, which are paper shredders. There are some paper shredders which have smartphone apps that you can, if you want to, you can put a piece of paper in the shredder and go across the house and press the button to start shredding it. You do not need that. We don't recommend those. We actually don't have any shredders on here because tax season is over.
Yep.
But okay, what else do we have on here? No,
I
looks
don't
like-
recognize the rest of these.
Yeah,
I
there's
don't
no
think we've
coffee
reviewed any of them.
makers, which is interesting because we have reviewed some coffee makers.
We have reviewed a handful of coffee makers,
Yeah.
but it's actually sort of a dwindling category. There are a few names where there's like some app control, but they're kind of like unique and weird ones. The Bona Verde Berlin, which roasts stuff. The Philip Seiko Avante, which is I think $3,000. It is incredible. Nespresso has something, but the app control, not really a big deal there.
Yeah,
We should
now,
probably
as we promised you, we are going to move on to some non-Amazon Prime deals, but first, let's take a question.
So, if you had to say like what the best category for Prime Day is, like across all of these, like what's the best thing?
Amazon devices. Like it is the most consistent, that is the best price you're going to get that year of the newest Amazon thing.
Right. Now, remember that Prime Day, at least the Amazon version of Prime Day, is for Prime members, and if you bought into the Amazon ecosystem with your own money, with your $119 a year that it costs for the Prime membership, you should consider, if you read books or if you watch TV, Amazon does those things very well with the Kindle and the Fire TV, and if you want a robot, if you want a voice assistant, the Alexa is the best one. So that's probably the go-to category for Prime Day.
And just membership includes Prime Video and Prime Music, which isn't as much as like Amazon Music, which is like way more music. But Prime Music still, you got a lot of stuff on demand for nothing above your Prime membership.
Right.
And all those things you can access on any of these devices that have Fire TV OS, Fire OS, Alexa. You can just bring them up on it. And that is a very handy thing to have because the idea is you're a Prime member, you're buying stuff on Prime Day, you're in the Prime ecosystem, and you have access to the Prime content.
Right, short answer, there is no one best category for Prime Day because the whole idea of Prime Day is to get you to spend whatever money you're going to spend on whatever device that you feel like spending it on. So, there is really no one best category. That said, Amazon is not the only one discounting stuff today. We've got a bunch of other ones here. We mentioned a few of them already, but let's go down the list and look at some of the best ones.
Walmart has some interesting stuff. We've talked about the iPad. The Google Chromecast and Home Mini bundle is, you'll say $15, but we both like those devices.
Yeah, the Google Home, the Google Assistant is not quite as good as Alexa, but probably the second best voice assistant.
We're actually a bit torn on that because Alexa is very good for third-party skills. You can have a lot of different features, and it can do a bunch of different things if you're willing to set it up. It is, however, a lot more strict for syntax. You need to word your request
Right.
very specifically.
Yeah.
The Google Assistant is not quite as friendly for third-party apps, although it is still very good for smart home devices, so that's good. But it doesn't have as many third-party. But it's is not as good for third-party skills, but is much better for natural language, so
Right.
it can understand what you're saying.
Yeah, Google has a vast array of artificial intelligence that it can use to translate things, to look up your calendar, things like that. It uses data that almost everyone is already giving Google if you have a Gmail account or use Google Docs or something like that.
Yep.
So those are kind of the strengths there.
There's a robot-enabled vacuum cleaner, which I don't know if Victoria has reviewed, the Hoover Quest 1000. We'll scroll past that because I can't.
I don't remember seeing a Hoover vacuum
either.
in here.
That's a good price, but it could be a piece of junk because we haven't looked at it, and that's why you should rely on our reviews because we actually look at these things.
Yeah, we actually, seriously, there are robot vacuums cleaning the floor of this studio every night. Well, not every night. We're not that clean.
We got a bunch of Dells from PC Mag Shop. Do we have a shop?
Yeah, we have partnerships. Again,
click
as
on
we
that.
mentioned, we don't actually.
Hey, that's what our shop looks like.
If you buy something from here, our corporate overlords might get some money. We don't get anything for that. We just review the products. We tell you what's good and what isn't.
We are Ziff Davis Tech and Commerce, a divisionary. I cannot talk today, but we're part of J2. Moving on. Got a bunch of Dells. Any of these stand out for you?
Yeah. So basically, the XPS 13 is one of the gold standards, if not the gold standard, of ultra portables. It is along the lines of the 13-inch MacBook Pro and the HP Spectre 13. It's an excellent laptop. We typically have reviewed recently more expensive versions bordering between $1,500 and $2,000. Getting a Core i7 current generation 8th gen processor with a touchscreen and a 4K display, I believe that's 4K, QHD, for $900 thereabout is a good deal.
What about the Vostra 15? That doesn't.
It's a desktop. It's a Core i7 business
Okay, it's a
desktop.
desktop,
If
yeah.
you're looking for a business desktop, buy that. Not very exciting.
Latitude, another thing is an M5, so whatever.
Yeah, let's go down here.
Would you recommend gaming with a 7th gen i5?
Okay, so here's the thing. The generation of the processor and the core count matters less if you're gaming at a basic level, like if you don't need to game in 4K or if you don't have a brand new demanding AAA title. Something like the Inspiron 15 gaming desktop is good because it has a 1050 Ti, which is going to basically the GPU is the most important thing at gaming at this level. The CPU is not a huge bottleneck, so going with the Core i5 processor is fine.
Yep. The Pavilion and ProDesk, they're basically like these aren't gaming devices. I don't think the.
Ooh, it's a micro tower though. If you want a tiny desktop, and we haven't actually reviewed that, so I'm gonna pass on that.
The Hisense, I want to say I looked at the H7, but I think it was the R7. That's the H6. I think it was the R7. So yeah, this one, not really sure. I've looked at several Hisenses, and they're actually quite good. The R7 is the most recent one I've looked at. It's an inexpensive Roku TV with good performance and supports HDR and 4K. Scepter, we have not touched. Can't talk to any of them. M series Samsung means it's last year, so even if you're seeing it for like 55 inches for $370, you can get a new Toshiba Amazon Fire TV that is 4K HDR. It's this TV for $10 more, and that's new, not refurbished,
Right.
current gen.
Do not pay the Samsung tax, basically,
Yeah.
in that situation.
JVC, we have not actually looked at that model. That's a good price, but I'm very curious about the performance. Google Wi-Fi mesh router system, again at Walmart.
Now, the mesh routers, we haven't really talked a lot about those. Basically, if you have a huge house or if you live in a very densely populated city with lots of wireless signals, you might want to consider a mesh router system. The Google Wi-Fi is one of the better ones, but there are other excellent alternatives, and you should check out the best Wi-Fi mesh routers story that we have on PCMag.com before you buy one of those.
We have experts in the field. We are not them. Lifetime cooler, I don't know.
Oh yes. Well, wait. Let's just talk about coolers for a second. There was a famous incident last year where a startup company sold a smart cooler on Kickstarter. They couldn't deliver. This one, if you're looking for a regular cooler that's not smart, I mean,
It's also
Why
like,
not?
it's a big cooler and it's $100 and it's not smart. I don't know why I want a cooler to be smart. I've actually looked at it. It's the
Yeah,
cooler cooler.
why do you want the cooler? We reviewed that, actually.
It had a bunch of different like gadgets on it, like it had a blender and it had like
Oh,
a
right,
Bluetooth
right,
speaker.
right.
So kind of neat. And it was nice. It was weird.
If you're just looking for something to go to the beach with and
Yeah.
or car camping, though, get the dumb cooler.
And Switch game console, again, Walmart. You're going to save $30 on a bundle, which is the Switch plus one of 4 games, and they're all excellent. Mario Odyssey is, I believe I gave that 5 stars because it is simply one of the best Mario games I've ever played.
Now,
it is.
but wait, okay, sorry. Speaking of Nintendo, real quickly, let's talk about something that is not discounted for Prime Day, but which you might want to buy, which is Nintendo's other insanely popular device, retro gaming, the $79
The SNES Classic, which I think is.
SNES Classic. That is on our list. It is not discounted, but it's incredibly hard to find.
We could see if it's actually available because it might be sold out by now.
Let's check that out.
Because I've been seeing it pop up and it's like only available at certain Amazon bookstores because there are a few brick and mortar ones. There's one in town, they don't have it. They don't
Oh
have
yes,
SNES.
we have a physical Amazon bookstore near us. You might as well check that if you want the SNES. We might have actually removed that from here because it probably an earlier version of this story definitely had it. Now I'm getting dizzy as we're scrolling through all the deals.
Well, we can look at the Amazon display over there and see.
Yeah.
And there's SNES Classic.
Let's search for that here. SNES to see if that is available.
We're all sorts of hooked up right now.
Nope.
That's under bestseller, and you see it doesn't have a. It's already has a
Yeah,
markup
no.
price.
So there's nothing available there.
Well, if you had a chance, good on you.
If you see that, don't wait for a deal on that because
The only reason I got mine was because apparently, like, one day it was on the Amazon treasure truck, which is the weird, like, we're going to park this truck
yes,
somewhere,
yes.
and like,
Right.
I just checked it, and oh wow, they have that. It's going to be 2 blocks away. I'm in.
Yeah, that's a unique shopping experience. The
It's
Amazon
weird.
treasure truck.
Yeah.
Or you can just go to Japan and get one there. The Japanese version is much more available, but it's only in Japanese, so you might not be able to understand it.
I actually have that one too. I got it when I went to Japan. Do we have anything else to talk about for Prime Day, or and also what are we going to talk about tomorrow morning for Prime Day? Because
Yes. Okay. So here's the thing. Prime Day just started officially, but the deals are ongoing. They started earlier, before 12 p.m. Eastern time. I'm sorry, before 12 p.m. Pacific time, and they will continue tonight and possibly tomorrow morning, where we will be back with another part 2 of our special One Cool Thing edition for Amazon Prime Day. And we might talk about some deals that popped up overnight that you might want to jump on, right?
sure.
Okay, so if you joined us, thank you very much for watching this special edition of One Cool Thing for Amazon Prime Day. Word of caution, just because it's a deal doesn't mean it's a good deal. Check out the review at PCMag.com for anything that you're considering buying. Ask us your questions in the comments. We'll do best to get those answers back to you.
This is actually very important for TVs because
Yeah.
at Prime Day, Black Friday, any like day that has a lot of sales, you see a lot of TVs that are on sale, and you think, oh, this is a blank size screen for that price. That's a good deal. Usually isn't, because it isn't just the brand to look at or the size. There are different tiers of TV quality and a lot of different variations. And if you see a budget TV that's a 55-inch like Samsung, it might not perform all that well compared to a high-end version. And if you see one that's on sale for Black Friday, it's probably a last year not so good version compared to what would be giving you the best performance. It's compromise that you shouldn't really make, because there's always there's usually a good budget model for a different brand you might not have heard of that we've tested that you might like over a longer period of time.
So that said, definitely do your homework on that. Let us know if you've got questions, and we will be back tomorrow morning to wrap up the end of Amazon Prime Day, which is very exciting for everyone involved, even if you're just looking and not actually buying a thing. Thank you very much for watching, and see you again tomorrow.